In July of 1947, something crashed in the desert outside Roswell, New Mexico. The local Army airfield announced it had recovered a flying disc. Within 24 hours, that story was retracted, replaced with a far more ordinary explanation: a weather balloon. But for decades since, Roswell has become ground zero for UFO lore, sparking rumors of alien craft, recovered bodies, and one of the most famous government cover-ups of all time. In this video, we're going to dig deeper than the headlines. We'll examine the unclassified documents from the Air Force reports. We'll look at eyewitness accounts, government denials, and the paper trail that has fueled 70 plus years of speculation. Was it really a secret military balloon, or a Cold War experiment, or something far more mysterious? Stay tuned, because by the end of this deep dive, you'll have seen the evidence, the cover stories, and the contradictions, and you can decide for yourself what really happened at Roswell. You have just tuned in to Down the Rabbit Hole, the channel for those who get a little too curious wearing their tinfoil hats and think the flies in their bedroom are secret government drones spying on them. This video, we will be diving deep into the Roswell UFO incident, where there was a UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico on July 8th, 1947, and they actually recovered bodies as well. The government admitted that there was a crash, but then 24 hours later retracted their statement, saying it was just a weather balloon. There's conspiracy, it's a government cover-up, there's UFOs, it's crazy. It definitely is perfect for this channel. If you like topics like this, make sure you click subscribe and click the bell. I'm going to start posting more often on this channel. I have to shout out my friend Shelby from Chill Seeker. Her channel is just like mine, but better. She talks about life on Mars. She went over Project Stargate, time traveling, AI psychosis, skinwalkers, all types of stuff that we are going to be covering on this channel. She already does. She actually motivated me to start posting on this channel again, the Down the Rabbit Hole channel. She actually makes my thumbnails, so go check her out. She's a new channel as well, so let's get her the support she definitely deserves. Her channel is incredible. I promise, if you like aliens, government conspiracy stuff, her channel is perfect for you. So links in the description to Shelby's channel, Chill Seeker. Now you can see right here, we have FBI.gov's official statement on the Roswell incident. I wanted to start my deep dive like this. Look at what the government says, like the mainstream media side of things, and then go down the rabbit hole. Get a little deeper into what others are saying, or maybe expose the truth. So we are on FBI.gov. And it says Roswell UFO. On July 8th, 1947, the FBI Dallas field office sent a teletype regarding a flying disc that resembles a high-altitude weather balloon found near Roswell, New Mexico. This single page is a serial from the larger UFO release found at fbi.gov/UFO. So we're going to actually check out this. So let's look at part 1 first, because there's actually lots of documents that they release on the second part of this, which we're also going to check out. So July 8th, 1947, flying disc information concerning headquarters, 8th Air Force, telephonically advised this office that an object purporting to be a flying disc was covered near Roswell, New Mexico. This date, the disc is hexagonal in shape and was suspended from a balloon by cable, which the balloon was approximately 20 feet in diameter. The object found resembles a high-altitude weather balloon with radar reflector, but that telephonic conversation between their office and the right field had not been out of belief, or formed out of belief. Sorry, it's kind of hard to read. The disc and balloon are being transported to right field by special plane for examination. Information provided this office because of national interest and the fact that national broadcasting companies, Associated Press, and others attempting to break the story of location of the disc today. Now we're going to go into part 2 because there are many, many documents. So we're going to take a little deep dive. So let's see. This is the memorandum from the United States government. This is July 11th, 1947. So 3 days later. Check this out. So some of this is redacted, but it says subject flying discs. So a disc 30.5 feet in diameter, circular in shape. It is dished like a saucer, and actually there is a saucer within a saucer in the manner of symbols. On one surface, there is attached a plastic dome described about 14 inches in diameter. I can't tell, it's very, very small, and affixed by 8 bolts in a rather rough manner. The bolts can be best described as similar to stove bolts. On the other surface is another dome of metal, which is gold in color on one side, and the inside is silver in color, which looks like tin. Through the plastic dome can be observed 3 tubes similar to radio tubes, and there is some wiring. The disc generally is 10 inches thick, and at the point where the domes are located, about 14 inches thickness. I can't really tell the numbers. But there's an object on it similar to electric coil, which has some type of an arm on it and bears the words inspected TS. Some of the wiring has been burned off, and it looks as though something might be missing. Now it says, stated that if this is the works of a prankster, he went through quite a bit of trouble. That's interesting that they mentioned that as well. So he stated the press is aware of this incident. He stated that the disc has been picked up and was now at the police department, Twin Falls, Idaho. He was instructed to notify the local army authorities of the existence of the disc. See how they're openly and blatantly calling it a disc on July 11th, so 3 days after. But that's interesting because if you remember, July 9th, they said it was a weather balloon. They didn't call this a disc at all. Here's some more records from the FBI. We're not going to go through all of them, but it does show, some of this stuff, some of the pictures, some of the letters. I will link this in the description. It's vault.fbi.gov. And if you want to search through all of this information on yourself, for yourself, there's 79 documents from the FBI. But now we're going to go into this one, which is the Air Force's page. I wanted to check out what they were saying about this. It does say case closed. Air Force News Special Report, the Roswell Report, case closed. So in July of 1994, remember, we're talking about several decades later, 1994. The Office of Secretary of the Air Force concluded an exhaustive search for records in response to a General Accounting Office, or GAO, inquiry of an event popularly known as the Roswell incident. The focus of the GAO probe, initiated at the request of a member of Congress, was to determine if the U.S. Air Force or any other U.S. government agency possessed information on the alleged crash and recovery of an extraterrestrial vehicle and its alien occupants near Roswell, New Mexico in July of 1947. So that's interesting that Congress actually made them go back and see if they were hiding anything. I think that's, there is some hope within the system, put it that way. The 1994 Air Force report concluded that the predecessor of the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Army Air Forces, recovered debris from an Army Air Force's balloon-borne research project codenamed Mogul, records located describing research carried out under the Mogul project, most of which were never classified and publicly available, were collected, provided to GAO, and published in one volume for ease of access for the general public. This report discusses the results of this exhaustive search and identifies the likely sources of the claims of alien bodies at Roswell. Contrary to allegations, many of the accounts appear to be descriptions of unclassified and widely publicized Air Force scientific achievements. Other descriptions of bodies appear to be actual incidents in which Air Force members were killed or injured in the line of duty. If you look at those pictures, they are very captivating. There's something very sinister or evil or creepy about them. They look very realistic to fake back in 1947. Now, obviously, there is the mock-up version, like in the museum, you see like the doctors or whatever, the surgeons, and the alien on the table. But there's other pictures, that's just where you could probably visit today. That's why you see people in there, like it's like a museum, display of it. But there's the real pictures from back then, which you could tell are very grainy, very weird looking. But to fake that is very it's a weird story. Let me know down below if you believe that this actually happened and if you believe those pictures are real. Now, the conclusions are this. So let's see what they say. The Air Force activities, which occurred over a period of many years, have been consolidated and are now represented to have occurred in 2 or 3 days in July of 1947. Aliens observed in the New Mexico desert were actually anthropomorphic test dummies that were carried aloft by U.S. Air Force high-altitude balloons for scientific research. If they were, then why would they make them look like aliens? That doesn't make sense. The unusual military activities in the New Mexico desert were high-altitude research balloon launch and recovery operations. Reports of military units that always seemed to arrive shortly after the crash of a flying saucer to retrieve the saucer and crew were actually accurate descriptions of Air Force personnel engaged in anthropomorphic dummy recovery operation. Claims of alien bodies at the Roswell Army Airfield Hospital were most likely a combination of two separate incidences. So this is 1956 KC 970 or 97 aircraft incident. 11 Air Force members lost their lives, and a 1959 manned balloon mishap, which 2 Air Force pilots were injured. But that doesn't make sense because these things definitely looked like aliens, and here are the anthropomorphic dummies that they dropped from the balloons, and you can definitely tell that those do not look like the types of things that you saw at the beginning of this video. So here's another document from theblackvault.com. I told you we do deep dives over here, folks. This is theblackvault.com. So we already went through the FBI records, declassified FBI records, redacted records, the cover-ups. Now this is Black Vault. This is a very, very, very long, and I mean long, file. There's 882 pages in this Roswell report. 882. I will also link this down below, but we're just going to see, the basis of what they're talking about. So let's check this out. Let's go to page 1, and it's frozen. Here we go. So, here we go. The Roswell, fact versus fiction in the New Mexico desert. So they have the foreword. Let's check out this. Acknowledgements. And remember, you can look at all this yourself if you want to read through all of this. But I want to read this part, this introduction. So let's zoom in. Now, throughout the latter half of the 20th century, the subject of the unidentified flying objects has revoked strong opinions and emotions. For some, the belief in or study of UFOs has assumed the dimensions of a religious quest. Others remain non-believers, or at least skeptical of the existence of alien beings and elusive vehicles which never quite seem to manifest themselves. Regardless of one's conviction, nowhere has the debate about UFOs been more spirited than over the events that unfolded near the New Mexico city of Roswell, December of 1947, popularly known as the Roswell incident. So there's been numerous witnesses, including former military personnel. Respectable members of the local community have come forward with tales of humanoid beings, alien technologies, and government cover-ups cause even the most skeptical observer to pause and take notice. Inevitably, these stories coming from the desert have spawned countless articles, books, films, museums claiming that they have proof visitors have come from outer space. How do we know they were from outer space and they haven't been here all along, though? Right? So, This study makes it abundantly clear. The declassification and review team found no evidence of any extraterrestrial craft or alien flight crew. In fact, what they did find had been declassified for more than 20 years, a shadowy, formerly top secret project named Code Mogul. What the Roswell incident was not. Before discussing specific positive results that these efforts revealed, it is first appropriate to discuss those things as indicated by information available to the Air Force that the Roswell incident was not. So they're saying it was not an airplane crash. Of all the things that are documented and tracked within Air Force, among the most detailed and scrupulous are airplane crashes. So they're saying it's not an airplane crash. They're saying it's not a missile crash. A crashed or errant missile, usually described as captured German V2 or one of its variants, is sometimes set forth as possible explanation for the debris recovered near Roswell. And that's since much of this testing done at nearby White Sands was secret at the time, it would be logical to assume that the government would handle any missile mishap under tight security, particularly if the mishap occurred on private land. But from the records reviewed by the Air Force, however, there's nothing located to suggest that this was the case. Also, it's not a nuclear accident, so one of the areas considered was that whatever happened near Roswell may have involved nuclear weapons. This was a logical area of concern since the 509th Bomb Group was the only military unit in the world at the time that had access to nuclear weapons. I like that they're giving all these different points. So, an extraterrestrial craft. The Air Force research found absolutely no indication that what happened near Roswell in 1947 involved any type of extraterrestrial spacecraft. This, of course, is the crux of the entire matter. Pro-UFO persons who obtain a copy of this report at some point most probably will begin the cover-up still on claims. Nevertheless, research indicated absolutely no evidence of any kind of spaceship crashed near Roswell. But, of course, they didn't at first say that. They said it definitely was a flying disc that crashed, right? And they recovered bodies. So here's what the Roswell incident was. So, as previously discussed, what was originally reported been recovered as a balloon of some sort, usually described as a weather balloon, although the majority of the wreckage was ultimately displayed by General Ramian Major Marshall in the famous photo in Fort Worth was a radar target normally suspended from balloons. This radar target, discussed in more detail later, was certainly consistent with the description of the July 9th newspaper article, which discussed tinfoil paper and sticks. So who knows what really happened back then? You can make your own assumptions, but this was the original newspaper. So you can see July 8th, 1947. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region, folks. That's the original newspaper article. So why in the world would they make such a bold claim when it was also so secret at first as well? Like, who would have all of a sudden just made that up? It had to come from somewhere. And a weather balloon is very, very, well, I don't know for sure, but I would think you could tell the difference between a flying saucer with bodies inside than a weather balloon. So let me know what you think. I definitely think this is a very fun story. It's a long story, it's very deep, and that's why I'm going to link down below the FBI's website that has all the documents and, all the reporting, so you can check it out yourself. But that's the gist of it. Nobody really knows what happened. Some say it was a cover-up, some say it wasn't. What do you think? Thank you so much for tuning in to Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm still new to this. My main channel is a lot different than this, but if you like this type of stuff, fun stuff where you could throw on your tinfoil hat, throw back, kick your feet back, eat some popcorn, let your mind run wild. I think this stuff is very, very fascinating, and there's always some truth to it. I mean, the government, go check out Chill Seeker's video that she posted the other day 3 days ago, there was a UAP hearing or UFO hearing with Congress where they admitted, they actually showed video of a UFO getting hit by a Hellfire missile. And they're saying, like, this isn't conspiracy anymore, it's reality. And it has been for a long time, it just hasn't been as public as now. So definitely check out her channel. I appreciate all the help she's done for me as well. All I can do is give back. If you like this stuff, please subscribe. Thanks for watching all the way till the end. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. And if you have any other topics you want me to dive into, also comment those down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Down the Rabbit Hole. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.